What's going on, guys? Hey, I want to welcome you to another episode of Learning from the Experts. Now, I know it's been a little bit of time here. I've been going through, I think we just got done with Event Mageddon. I don't even know how many events we've just done in the last 3 months. It's been nuts. So, but that is still no excuse, and I feel bad I have not come here in a while. But I've had something on my mind for a bit that I would love to get out and talk with you guys about, and hopefully open up your guys' mind to it as well. I started doing this when I was about 23, so I'm excited to tell you about it and how I've morphed it and where I've come from since then. The things that I've learned with talking with Steve Larson about this as well, and kind of what you guys can take from it as well to help you guys in your own journey and path, whatever it may be. So I'm excited to do that. Let's go ahead and jump in. So here's the deal. I know how frustrating it is to waste countless hours sifting through wannabe experts who never actually help you in the end. Then to learn years later that there was a real expert who could have helped you 100 times faster than learning it on your own. I have created this podcast to save you time and money while taking you on a journey with me as I learn from real experts who can actually help you grow your business. My name is Colton Woods, and you're listening to Learning from the Experts. Awesome. So, let me tell you real quick. When I was about 23, it wasn't until I was about 23 when I discovered that I actually had false beliefs. I know that's and for some of you, you're like, what, false beliefs? And others of you, you're like, you were 23? I totally get it. Don't worry. Some of you maybe understanding that, and others, you're like, wait, what do you mean by that? So totally cool. I'm going to go through it a little bit here. But when I was 23, I listened to a guy tell me this whole framework of how we do things. And I've talked about this in the past on a podcast in the past, but I want to talk about it in a different way, specifically for entrepreneurs, but this can definitely apply for other spaces in your life. I use it in every part of my life. But as far as for entrepreneurs, me and Steve were talking the other day before an event, and he's like, man, you know what? I feel like the whole purpose of our events is to raise the level of what each and every individual entrepreneur can do. I'm like, yeah, that's 100% what we're doing. We're just helping them see how much more they can do, helping them see that they can do more than they believe they can do right now. So we're trying to break through that invisible belief ceiling that they have, and get them to the next level. Now, a lot of you may have never thought about the ceiling you have above you, and a lot of times we just don't think about it. A lot of times we don't even know it's there. I definitely didn't know it was there growing up. I just kind of was like, this is what I can do, and this is what I will do. And others, that's just the way they go through their whole life is, I can do this, but I can't do that, and that's just the way it is. But as far as entrepreneurs, we're always pushing that ceiling. We're always pushing the cap that we have. We're always trying to get it to the next level. So let me give you a little bit of an example and a story behind this. So when I was first starting out in college, funny enough, I thought that I had to take a business class in order to start a business, right? I got to learn something. I got to know something in order to start this business class. So, or in order to start a business. So I took the business class, and I thought that was going to be all I needed, literally, which is kind of funny. Definitely need a lot more than that. But I take this class, and it's my very first business course in college. Super excited, and I took it specifically because it was you're going to start an online business. And I'm like, sweet, that's what I want to do. I mean, this is back in 2012. So, definitely had internet and different things back around then, but we did not have ClickFunnels, which is sad. So things were a little bit harder for online stuff back then. Now, I take this class, and I'm like, funny enough, he's like, I don't really care if it's like specifically online. It's more of just starting a business, starting something, like just sell something. And so I'm like, well, that's cool. Like I can do that, I believed I could do it. So I was like, let me figure out what I can do. And then funny enough, I was actually just on a conversation yesterday with a couple entrepreneurs, and they're like, I don't know if my stuff's really worth that much. Is it really valuable? Is it actually valuable to those who I'm going to try to sell it to, And it was funny to me because she's like, I've got 20 years experience in this. I know exactly what people are looking for in this. I know exactly what they need to get in order to be successful in what I'm in what they're doing. And I'm like, wait, so you've got 20 years experience. You know exactly what they need in order to be successful. Like, why would I not pay at least $1,000 for some kind of education on that? Like, why would I not do that if you have the experience that you do? She's like, well, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's really not like that hard. And I'm like, look, it's not hard to you, but it's really hard to them. And that's what makes it like worth the money. And they're already putting tons of money into what they're doing anyway, right? So why not spend good money? I mean, $1,000 ain't much when you're already putting a lot in there, but spend a good little chunk of money to get the right stuff instead of paying $50 for something that's not going to really help them, And so I'm like walking them through this, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, that's true. And I'm like, guys, we all think that what we do is not worth much because it's easy to us. That's just the way it is. For other people, it's not easy. It is really hard, and they're willing to pay. We pay. She's like, would you pay like $1,000 on something that's a hobby? And I'm like, I've paid plenty more than that on plenty of hobbies. And trust me, I didn't even have the cash back then, and I paid money for it. Like if they want to do it, they're going to pay for it. Like, that's just the way it is. So, funny enough, I'm like helping her, and I'm helping them like see, okay, you're kind of limiting yourself, on what you can actually do for them. You see yourself as not that valuable. So you're gonna come into the market showing that you're not that valuable because that's the way you believe it is. Now you've got that ceiling there, and if you could actually change that ceiling and up it, then yeah, obviously things are gonna be a little bit better for you there. Man, sorry, just got a little sidetracked there. So this invisible ceiling, the best way to think about it is, think about it this way. What do you feel like you're actually capable of doing? What do you think you can actually accomplish in this life? And what would you do if you could accomplish more than that? What would you change if you knew that you could actually do more than that? The reason I ask this is my entire life I've done nothing but raise that ceiling, and I had no idea. I wasn't sure. I didn't know that's what I was doing, was raising that ceiling to the next level. It's the same thing in business. So when you're trying to start with your first dollar online, that first dollar is like the hardest dollar to make. But once you make it, you get to a point of, now I'm gonna forget all the numbers. Alex Sharfin talks about this. I think 0 to, I want to say 50,000 or 100,000 a year, something like that. One of those two. So let's just say 100,000, 0 to 100,000. Once you hit that $100,000 mark, you have to change systems and things in your business in order to go past that level. Excuse me. And so in order to get past that ceiling, you have to change some systems and different things in your business. Now, once you change those systems and improve them and make it so that you can actually go up to $1 million in your business, once you get to the $1 million mark, and I think there's plenty of different levels in between there. I should have looked up Alex Sharfin's thing, but anyway, so every time your business hits a certain amount of revenue, and they've seen this same study throughout so many different businesses, once you hit that level of revenue, you cannot break it or you'll sit right around it for long periods of time unless you introduce a new system, a new process. And if you don't do that, you're going to stay where you're at. That's just the way it is. So in order for us as an individual to grow into a spot where we can actually build that business into a higher revenue, we have to raise our own ceilings as well. So the best way to do this, look at what you are probably stressing about, things that you're not doing too well on, things that your business is failing in, and look at the actions you are taking in that part of your business. Look at the actions you're doing right now. Now pull them out and look at them objectively. Okay, so this is what I'm doing right now. These are the actions. I'm not progressing in this spot. What actions am I taking? Now look at those actions objectively and say, okay, what belief do I have that is causing that action? What's underneath that action? And if you think about it and you pull underneath that action, the belief that's in it, you'll start to realize, okay, because I understand this to be the truth or the belief that is the right thing, I'm getting this action, right? So if I want to change that action, the only way to change it is to change the belief. Now, what books, what courses, what material do I need to go and consume, or what person do I need to go and hire in order to change that belief so that I can raise my ceiling? Man, I feel like I just gave you a ton right there. Hopefully this is making sense to you guys. If you got any feedback, please, as always, leave a comment or message me somewhere and let me know. But the whole thing behind this is you have certain beliefs that cause certain actions in your life, in your business even, that you are running for, and it honestly may not be the right one. The best realization I ever had was that not all of my beliefs are true or correct. And when you look at your beliefs as that, and you start to pull them out objectively and say, is that actually true? Should I try to understand this area more in order to change that belief for the better? Or is it giving me the best result right now? Or am I not getting a very good result right now from this thing that I'm doing? What's my belief under that? And start to work on educating yourself about that. That's going to help you change that belief. I know that's a lot, and it's kind of like, here you go, have fun, see you later. But I know you'll start to understand it and get it the more you do it. I do this literally like every day. It's really interesting. So when I react to something, or when I say, let's do this, a lot of times I have to think, okay, is that going to give me the right result? And then what's funny enough is you'll start to see people talking to you and they're like, oh, we need to do this, or like they react a certain way to what you said. And you're like, oh, okay. And you'll start to see based on their actions what their beliefs are. And funny enough, when you start to see their actions and you start to understand what beliefs can cause that action, you'll know exactly how to change those beliefs for that person. The funniest thing is, like, most people attack people's actions. So like, hey, you did that? Like, oh my goodness, that is like, that's so wrong. We don't do that. I can't believe you would actually do that. Blah, 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 blah. Like, you're a horrible person, whatever, They attack the action of the person instead of saying, okay, what belief does that person have that caused that action? Let me tell them a story. Let me help them have an epiphany around why you believe it's not that way. Now, here's the kicker. What you believe may not be right too. It's just the way it is. And you're trying to push your belief on them. So really, honestly, I can't stand it when people push a belief on somebody else when they have very, very little education about it. I don't want to push any beliefs on somebody else when I don't have the education behind it to back it. I feel like that's a lot of stuff that's actually happening in society right now. People are pushing their beliefs when they have very little education behind that belief. Somebody told them something, they believed that person, which came from a really unreliable source, and now they're pushing it in mainstream media, on their social media, whatever. and trying to help change or trying to change other people's beliefs on something that they don't quite fully understand themselves. That is a huge problem right now. So just remember that when you're trying to change somebody's belief, if you don't have the education behind it to actually back it, I would be kind of cautious on that. And if you really want to know how to change people's beliefs, I actually did a podcast on the Biz Bros podcast not too long ago and talked about that kind of part of it. One of my earlier podcasts, I want to say it was like episode 8. It was a while ago. I talked about that, how to change people's beliefs. I think it was 7 or 8, something like that. So anyway, hopefully y'all are doing good. Go raise your own ceiling and start doing things that you didn't believe you could actually do or you didn't think you could do. Because honestly, I was just a regular old dude growing up. I've done things that I didn't think I'd ever be able to do when I was younger, and now I know that I can do things, pretty much anything I want or would like to do, as long as I push the education behind it and grow my beliefs. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know, and we'll talk to y'all later.